doing and after last night? And you won't answer this, but do you think he'll start game 2?
He's doing pretty well. I talked to him a little while ago, so he came out of last night well. He's going to get shots up today, get a little more work, but should be good to go for tomorrow. And I'm not answering that one, the second part.
Steve, when you look at the way you guys played last night and obviously the impact of the new lineup, are you able to sort of get a finger on how much of that lineup you can actually use in the game?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on the opponent. It depends on how the game is going. You have to read the game. The way we've always kind of done it here, the method is if you do it for too long, it's exhausting. You can see sometimes teams will go small, get on a huge run, and there's still big chunk of the game left, and the energy's gone, and the other team goes on a run. So you kind of want to avoid those big swings that go against you. You want the one swing that helps you without giving up the other swing in reverse. So that's why we've done it in smaller portions. With that said, it's going to depend on our opponent. It's going to depend on what we're trying to do defensively, what our game plan is. So for this series, we have a pretty decent idea of what we'd like to do. But, what's the Mike Tyson line? Everyone's got a plan till you get punched in the mouth. That's kind of the truth. You got to figure it out on the fly.
Draymond was mentioning the need for that small lineup to form a defensive identity. They've only played together now 5 minutes or so. What do you think the defensive identity of that unit can be? Well,
we need Wiggs to rebound, which he did last night. He had nine boards. We can't foul. If we don't foul, then we can get out and run. Even if the other team scores, we're still pushing the ball rather than having to walk it up after a free throw. And we've got to contain penetration. So we've got to be able to use our speed and quickness to keep people out of the paint, and then rebound and go. And there are times where that's going to happen. There's going to be times where it doesn't, and that's what we've got to be able to read.
I know you don't often call plays, but with that group, do you call any plays, or is it just kind of momentum, motion, offense, and they do what they do?
Mostly just just do what you do. Draymond in the high pick and the floor spread, and then once the ball's moving, it's just drive and kick. So it's more concepts than plays, but we'll call one on a dead ball maybe just to change up, but not very often.
Steve, you've mentioned before that you've been intentionally hard on Jordan Poole. Can you remind us why you did that, and what do you think was born out of the tough love approach?
Well, we're trying to make sure that he takes on all the responsibilities that come with playing winning basketball. And, one of the problems that he's had earlier in the year is just fouling too much, when he's beaten out of frustration, just reaching, not doing his job defensively. So that was usually the reason for the tough love. And I thought last night was one of his best games defensively. Everyone, rightfully so, locked in on the 30 points because he made some special plays. But you watch the tape, he stayed in front of his guy. He didn't reach. He made it hard on people to score. When they did get an angle, he didn't reach. He didn't do what he's done a lot earlier in the year. And the game kept flowing, and that's what we need out of him.
Coach, oftentimes in these playoff series, when you see a situation where a guy like Jokic only gets 2 free throw attempts, the team only got 12, the Nuggets did, you see that kind of swing the next game. Is there anything you do to tell your team to prepare for those types of swings?
Yes. Yeah. We've already told them, Denver's going to come out swinging tomorrow. I mean, this is how series generally work. You know, the team that loses game one, especially a game like that yesterday, that where you know, things went pretty smoothly for us. The other team's they're gonna come out swinging. They're gonna bring the full force tomorrow. They're gonna go to the line more. It's just gonna happen. It's just the way it works, because they're gonna be more aggressive. Because, you know, they will have sent their clips to the league, you know, like everyone does. And that's why we have to be really disciplined tomorrow. Denver's a great team, even without their injured players, with Murray and Porter being out. You know, they were able to have the type of season they did because of, you know, who Jokic is and the continuity that they have with Mike and the roster. They know what they're doing. And so they're coming after us tomorrow. We know that, and we've got to be ready. We can't let our guard down.
Steve, Draymond was in here before you, and he was talking about the logic behind bringing Steph off the bench, bringing him off the bench, and contrasted it with Clay and saying that this is the more logical move to bring guys off the bench when they've been out for a while and they're on minute restrictions. Was there anything learned from the Clay experiment?
Well, I think, we learned that it was really hard for Clay to sit for 12 minutes. And we talked about that at the time. But I think what outweighed that for us was the 2.5-year absence. Clay is a starter. You know, it's the middle of the season. You're going to start the rest of the year. Like, let's throw you in the starting lineup. Now, the first couple of weeks, it was definitely awkward where he's riding the bike in the tunnel for 20 minutes, you know. The minutes were really tricky until they creeped up enough where, you know, we could kind of stagger his rotations to a comfortable level. So with that in mind, yesterday was a lot easier to do what we did with Steph, and we did it in concert with him. It wasn't like I made the decision. I talked to him about it, and we made the decision together.
Looney had a few buckets early. Bielitsa came in and scored. Porter in the paint. Did I feel like that loosened their defense up a little bit? That the guys they probably kind of wanted to shoot made some plays early. Yeah,
they did a good job. You know, there are openings out there. You know, the way Denver is defending the perimeter. You know, they're committing. You know, at least they did. In game one, they're committing, you know, their big guys to the ball on the high screens. So the floor has opened up a little bit, and you got driving lanes for Loon, for Belly, for Otto. Got a lot of plays out of the pocket on the backside. Gary Payton, you know, getting a lay-in, Draymond getting a dunk. So those plays were all there, and that's what we have to look for tomorrow, and to see what adjustments they make. Do they try to take that away? If they do, then we have to be ready with our counter.
I think Porter was something like plus 24, and he wasn't on that closing unit, and he wasn't making a ton of shots. And yet sometimes that does happen with him a lot. Can you put your finger on how that happens with Otto Porter not being always in with the other stars?
Seems to happen a lot with both Gary and Otto. They both seem to make really positive impacts on the game, regardless of their own individual stats. With Otto, it's the screening, it's the passing, it's rebounding, the defensive rotations. He's just always in the right spot, and he understands the flow of the game. I think he fits our style really well. You know, he ran the Princeton offense at Georgetown. So he learned at a young age, kind of, you know, the style we play, the back cuts, the DHOs, the movement. So he really fits our style, and he's a pro. He's been around long enough now to really know the NBA. And so it seems like he makes a positive impact every night, whether his shot's going in or not.
Speaking of that, Coach, what's your comfort level at this point, having lineups out there for periods of time without Steph, Clay, or Jordan?
Steph, Clay, or Jordan?
Yeah.
I do not have a comfort level with that at this point. So I don't.
There was a
plan
few
on
instances of that last night, right?
What's that?
There was a few instances of that last night.
Steph, Clay,
Oh.
and Jordan. I don't think we had any. Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, at the end. Yeah, at the end.
All right, let's do one on Zoom. Maria, go ahead.
Hi, Coach. Hope you're well. Congrats for the first win. After more than 1,000 games, 1,038, if I'm not mistaken, Steph, Clay, and Draymond played together a playoff series game. So what is the most rewarding or gratifying thing to you to have them, the three of them, available to play?
Yeah, it's just so much fun to see them together after such a long absence. You know, what they've been able to accomplish together, along with Andre. You know, they've made an indelible mark on NBA history, and you know, for our fans, for our organization, for all of us who are close with them, it's so much fun to see them back on the floor competing together again, because you know, these were the best days in the history of the Warriors franchise. You know, those championships and watching those guys play together in concert. They're a really unique trio in that they're all three stars, but they all rely heavily on each other. I think our fans recognize that. It's kind of the beauty of the sport, that people need to play well together for a team to be good. So you to have that dynamic back, to see them still playing at a high level with that emotion in a new building, in a new environment 3 years after the last time we were together, it's incredibly gratifying.
Steve, what are your thoughts on media Draymond in two respects? One, what do you think of his podcast and so forth? And two, what do you, as a coach, some coaches might consider all that stuff he's doing as a distraction. You've always talked about the life-work balance and others. So where do you stand on?
I don't listen to his podcast. I listen to him every day, so I get enough of Draymond. No, you know, it's 2022. It's a different time. It's a new era. So players have these huge platforms. So it's different. So for you know, Draymond to have a podcast commenting on the league, commenting on our games, it's not something we've seen a whole lot of, if at all. But he loves it, and this is what he wants to do with his future. And as long as he's doing his job with us, which he clearly is doing really well, we're fine with it. I'm fine with it. I want him to be happy. I want him to be comfortable in his own existence and with his family. And so he's doing a great job of balancing everything out.
You didn't hear it where he was ripping you then.
No, but I hear it in practice directly. So. All right. Thank you.